Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the regular council meeting for September 29th, 2025, here in council chambers at 1394 of Pine Avenue, also available live on Zoom. Our meetings are also open to the public and posted on the city YouTube channel. The first item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda, and I do have a friendly amendment to the agenda before we get started. And the amendment is to change the delegation from the Battered Women's Support Services to be heard at 3 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock PM. Is there someone to make that motion? Thank you. Councillor Martin and Councillor Hansen. All those in favor? Thank you. That was carried. A motion to resolve into the committee of the whole, please. Councillor Hansen and Councillor Martin. Thank you. All those in favor? And that was carried. So we do have a delegation from the Battered Women's Support Services. And I'll just get Sandy to bring them up.
Actually, Shelby is attending via Zoom today, and she is present at the meeting. Her name is Shelby Johnson,
Okay.
and she is with the Battered Women's group with us today. So I'll hand it over to you, Shelby.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you for the amendment in the agenda. I appreciate it so much. And yeah, if it's all right with you, I will get going into the little presentation I have here. I don't have materials, but it'll just be my speaking voice if everyone can hear me all right. Hopefully, yes. Okay, good. Okay, so thank you so much for having me here today and for taking the time to meet. My name is Shelby Johnson. I'm here on behalf of Battered Women's Support Services. As a heads up, I will be using the acronym of BWSS throughout this presentation. So as that comes up, that will be what I'll be using. For over 45 years, BWSS has been on the front line of ending gender-based violence in BC, providing critical services, prevention initiatives, and intervention supports. For perspective, last year alone, we responded to 52,000 requests for services. We are based out of Metro Vancouver, but respond to calls for services and training across the province. We're here today because supporting survivors, preventing violence, and advancing public safety is a responsibility that I believe we share. We want to highlight that municipalities play a pivotal role in public safety. And specifically, I want to talk about the public safety issue of gender-based violence and recognizing that it is not a private issue, as society has kind of conditioned us to believe. Rather, gender-based violence has become a public safety crisis. Every community is affected. Every person in Trail, for example, has either a direct experience with gender-based violence or knows someone who has, whether it is a family member or a friend, a coworker, a classmate. To highlight this, while overall femicide rates in Canada have been, overall homicide rates in Canada have been declining, femicide rates, or the killings of women and girls, have increased 10% since 2024. As a number in BC, this looks like 36 women and girls killed in the last 13 months. We also want to stress that there is a hidden financial cost to inaction toward this crisis. On average, municipalities pay about $11,000 per person per year when it comes to intimate partner and gender-based violence. This cost doesn't appear as a single line item in a city budget, but it shows up in policing, in housing, healthcare, justice, lost productivity, and community well-being. Every municipal department is already patching a hole left in underfunded or under-prioritized response to gender-based violence. We believe we can do better, and we believe that safety is possible. And I also want to acknowledge that Trail has a fabulous resource already in place with the Trail Family and Individual Resource, or FAIR Society. We have connected with them in the past, recently with the WINS Transition House, to learn more about local gaps and to start conversations on standardized risk assessments and safety planning. These local insights are vital in shaping provincial advocacy. But for you today, key change makers here, We want to really highlight that municipal governments can play a critical role in public safety. Survivors are residents, survivors are taxpayers, and cities can't afford to ignore this crisis. At BWSS, we are encouraging municipalities to lead in 5 key ways, and I'll list them off if that's okay. Number 1 would be to declare gender-based violence as a public safety priority. Treat it with the same urgency as any other crisis and use communication strategically to challenge stigma. Number 2 would be to establish a local gender-based violence task force to include survivors, police, housing, and health leaders to design coordinated responses. We're hoping you can also assign a City Hall lead, ensure cross-departmental accountability for prevention. Number 4 would be to integrate risk assessments. Require tools like Be Safer or ODERA for police and first responders. And the 5th would be to track and report costs. Apply this $11,000 analysis in a local budget framework to reveal the true cost of inaction. And that can essentially help provide more funding from the province once we get more information, is the goal. To put this into context for Trail, and in doing research for today's meeting, I recognize that you faced this reality firsthand in November of last year. In reading what I did about your community's response to the tragic killing of Lindsay Batts, it was powerful. And Mayor Jones, I recognize you were outspoken in your support of the March for Lindsay, noting it was not only a tribute to her memory, but a call to action to raise awareness and support survivors. Trail continues to demonstrate leadership. I imagine your city's bridge will again be illuminated in purple this November for Intimate Partner Violence Awareness. And I also recognize you have a public safety task force already. I can candidly say that other communities I've presented to have not had that same action in place. I recognize Councillor Martin is involved too. It's wonderful to see what you've been able to do already and lay this fabulous foundation. And we are here to act as a support in whatever way you see fit. Ultimately, I think we can all agree that every resident of Trail deserves to be safe, at home, in public, in their community. Together, we can ensure that Trail leads by example, strengthening public safety while supporting survivors with compassion and with care. And with that, I will thank you again. So thank you, Mayor Jones, councillors, everybody in this room, you change makers. Thank you for your commitment and your time. We look forward to working with you, with Fair Society, or with any and all community partners who wish to continue this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Shelby. Are you willing to take some questions, or if council has any questions?
By all means, yes, please.
Program? Okay, Councilor Benson.
Thank you through the chair. Thank you, Shelby, for your presentation. Just a question, you talked about integrating risk processes and you mentioned Be Safer and ODERA. Is that the two? Could you talk to those?
Sure thing. Yeah. So Be Safer in particular, that's one that is already used by municipal and RCMP forces in BC. It is a bit more, like, it requires more training. It's not provided right off the bat to frontline police officers, but it is something that we are needing to see as a means of responding appropriately to this crisis. So we're trying to get more municipal and RCMP forces to use this Be Safer, or ODERA is an Ontario-based risk assessment tool. And we're trying to have it so that they become standardized for every officer, not just specialized vulnerable people units or domestic violence units. We think that, you know, more comprehensive risk assessment is key to tackling these issues. And if you'd like, I can send you more information about them too.
That would be great. Thank you.
Deal.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other questions? Okay, thanks again, Bobby.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Okay, so we will move on to the department permit updates, please. And first up, we have Public Works and the General Manager of Municipal Services.
Thank you, Your Worship. Council, for having me this afternoon. So I'll be giving updates for a few departments today with some folks being absent today. We'll start with the engineering department update. I'm assuming that many people shared our views of last week while we saw some crews not in action downtown. And there's lots of questions, so we'll have a quick update on that. Progress despite the inactivity over that 1 week period is still on track and doing well. We have had a lot of scope, additional scope to that job. One of the fun parts about opening things up for demolition is that you find things. So the issue with local last week was that we kind of butted up against one of their other jobs, because this job technically was supposed to have already been scheduled to be completed. So bit of an hours out, bit of a reset for the crews, bit of them putting some resources in some other places, back on site, ready to finish this up. Work did continue at this 900 Spokane with the abatement. It pretty much wrapped up. I believe they're just finalizing the roofing membrane this week. And then once the demolition is completed and we're backfilled, they'll be moving straight over to the Spokane City. So all indications are a few more weeks on those projects, and we'll see another dramatic change with the infill of that Helena Street location. Two other capital initiatives of note, one being some sewer spot repairs around the city. We have that was awarded a few weeks back. They are now on site doing those jobs. So those are to address several locations that were identified as weak or potential failure points. So we're getting in front of that. The other initiative is with a failed sewer line at the top of Fifth Avenue Hill on Shakers Bench. So they're underway now and they're expected to be here until the end of October. Any questions on engineering? Okay. I will jump to Parks and Recreation if that's okay, with Gabby not being here today. I'll provide her update. Very exciting. She is back to work. She has completed her gradual return to work and she is now full-time coming as of this next week. So very exciting. Operationally, went through a bit of a hiring, got 4 new lifeguards on staff, so very excited. With the extended shutdown, we have had to reschedule some programs. Those patrons that have been impacted have been contacted, so they are aware of the impacts. And that includes both swimming lessons and some aquafit. Taking the advantage of the additional downtime to extra prepare and training and getting our own internal house in order. The good news is we have not, as of yet, received any feedback about the extended closure from residents or patrons. So very excited to get back open and serve over the winter time. Yeah, that actually is it for Parks and Rec. Councillor Patrick.
No, I've been getting a little nut question really as to when it's going to reopen the aquatic center.
It's certainly, we're at the point where we can't be certain about the dates. We are dependent on delivery times for materials to repair the equipment that had a malfunction during the startup. So when we get closer to having some confirmation, like once the ordered materials have shipped, as an example, we'll have a better idea of the timeline. But yeah, right now we're projecting out into the middle of October.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Worship.
Any other questions? No? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next up is, sorry. So, the utilities or Craig? Craig. Thank you, Craig.
Start off with a couple of, I guess we'll call them accomplishments if we're successful. We submitted 2 grant applications, one for the UBCM 2025 Strategic Priorities Fund. So with that, we requested 4.6 million to support the Charles Lakes Drive capital project. I don't expect to hear back from them until early 2026 on the results. Can imagine one of that magnitude will be quite a bit to filter through all the applications. Another was the Columbia Basin Trust Community Readiness Program. It's the capital equipment and supply stream, so we're eligible for up to $100,000. And that is to go to emergency funding, so we're looking at video surveillance for the Trail Creek intake anywhere that can flood, that we have to monitor regularly. That's a known flood zone and it has happened in the past. Also a large diesel trailer mounted pump, so if we have any flooding, we can have put the water where it's supposed to go, basically. Operational updates, so some water system adjustments are coming up on October 6th. The Bear Creek well will be isolated. Chlorinated water from the water treatment plant will be redirected to Shavers Bench, Merrill Heights, Glen Mary, and Juanita, and that's in preparation for more unidirectional, the fall of unidirectional water main flushing in that area. So we did West Trail downtown, Sunningdale, etc. So now we're working on this end of it, and also in preparation for some upgrades into the Bear Creek well. Some ongoing maintenance and repairs. We continue working on the sanitary sewer, stormwater, and water distribution systems. That includes both planned work and emergency work as it comes up. And consistently catch basin cleaning, we kind of do those tasks in between the big repairs. And they're ongoing. Seasonal decor, it's that time, so we're pulling these lights out, we're going through the bulbs, catching them up. I think we have about 800 bulbs already that have to be changed, so put in perspective what it takes. It's quite a bit. So we'll continue on working with that. Electrical and plumbing maintenance as required continues across city facilities. We are working on our annual backflow prevention device testing. It's we have several spots where we test these backflow prevention devices, so I'm not sure if you're familiar with what they are. If you are, please ask it and we'll cover it off. We completed the Sunningdale intake annual underwater inspection, so we have divers every year go down. They inspect the intake, make sure it's in good shape, so there's no deficiencies found. It's good shape. We also did some cleaning. They have a large hydraulic pump that goes down with them, and then we fill bins up and get rid of a lot of the silt. So that's happened this year as well. Training and certification, Joey Baker completed level 2 water distribution on September 19th. Passed his EOCP exam, so he's now level 2. Sean Anson just recently completed his level 1 wastewater collection course. Still has to write his exam, so that's coming up in October. And on October 1st and 2nd, we will have aerial work platform training and bucket truck training for our new GLG. Capital project updates, Bear Creek well improvements. So it's out to tender, should be out to tender next week. Water master plan 2 weeks, we'll have that out to tender. Charles Lakes Drive, the planning is still underway. I just met with the consultant. We're looking at a little bit more surveying. So it's on track. Looking ahead, we're going to continue with the flushing program and infrastructure maintenance, of course. We always find efficiencies while doing that program and repair as needed. And we'll monitor the grant application outcomes and prepare for subsequent stages if shortlisted. And I'd like to look at some advanced planning for emergency preparedness as well. And that's it. Any questions for?
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions? Okay. Good enough?
Thank you.
Thank you, thanks, Greg. Busy.
What's going on?
Okay. Up next is Brandon. Are you up? Welcome.
Thank you, Your Worship, Council. Thanks for having me today, to provide you an update on the facilities department. Some major accomplishments and milestones that we have achieved since the last reporting period were the completion of the refrigerated floor concrete pour, the concrete floor cure and controlled pull down to its final temperature, installation of dashboards and their advertisements, and the completion of the ammonia plant upgrades, commissioning and startup. So it's been a busy summer.
Oh, well,
Yeah, it's been a busy summer, but I'm very happy to be giving you this report. Before I touch on the capital projects, I'll touch on some operational updates. During our shutdown window at the Trail Memorial Center, we were able to coordinate with Martech Electrical to perform some maintenance on our high voltage switchgear, which is the main feed to the entire building. This work performed on a periodic basis to ensure staff safety and regulatory compliance. And I'm happy to report that our equipment is in good health and there's no major deficiencies found. As Jared touched, after our shutdown at Talc, unfortunately, we did experience some critical equipment failure. Working with suppliers, we were able to quickly source all the replacement parts. But a lot of this stuff, it has longer lead times, meaning that these are not off the shelf products. But an update will be provided as soon as we have insurance on when this will be available. Some training. So with our upgraded ammonia plant in place and our new boiler plant going to be coming online in the next month, there will be a concerted effort made to ensure that all the staff are trained on the new equipment and specific operations of each plant. For capital project updates, the refrigerated floor. So after months of hard work and planning, the refrigerated floor is in its final stage, with project handover to the city happening in the next week. We've had some small budgetary overruns, but much of it was to increase the function and safety of patrons and employees working on and around the floor. Thanks to the coordinated effort between Rewards Project Manager and the city, this project was able to be scheduled despite multiple setbacks that presented themselves. For the milestones I touched earlier, August 21st, the refrigerated floor concrete pour was conducted. This went smooth without any interruptions and resulted in an extremely flat concrete slab. Following pour date, slab has gone through its 28-day cure. And now, in conjunction with the ammonia plant coming online, the slab is in a controlled pull down, with our final temperature being reached end of day today, early tomorrow, which will kick off ice making. And last week marked the completion of the dashboard installation and advertisements. City and contract crews worked tirelessly to get the board ads in, and I think they wrapped up on 11:30 p.m. on Friday night to get it done. Yeah, and there's gonna be some reduced public impact as the refrigerated floor project winds up. Eventually, more of the arena will start to get opened up. And now, city staff are working in multiple shifts to ensure that the ice can get installed in time for the Trail Smoke Eaters home opener next week. Moving over to the heat recovery project. Phase 1 of the heat recovery project is complete, with first major milestone being the ammonia plant coming online. As with the heat recovery, there were some budgetary overruns in this project, primarily regarding safety with elevated work equipment, to ensure that staff can access some higher work platforms. Scheduling wise, long hours put in from our contract team. The ammonia plant upgrades are completed on schedule to coordinate with the refrigerated floor. And the ammonia plant upgrades have passed technical safety BC's boiler inspection. And which allowed us to bring the plant online in time for the pull down. There are aspects of the heat recovery project that have to continue on. So we're working closely with Midwest Mechanical to coordinate the work to ensure that public safety is key while at the arena. Because they will still have an active construction zone. And thanks to our city electrician, is able to store some very critical long lead time equipment in a tight time frame, which allowed for us to achieve this project on schedule. Looking now, projecting out, looking ahead, we're going to be going into fall. So we're going to be moving into a fall shutdown of parks facilities and winterization in the coming weeks and months. And continuing on with the work at TEL to bring that facility back online as quickly as we can. And as our projects come online, we're going to be swapping into operations. And we'll be staging ice making between the various sheets to bring everything back online as much as we can in a timely manner. That concludes my update. Does anybody have any questions?
That's all you have.
It's been a busy summer.
That's a great report. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. McLaren has a question.
Mayor Jones and council, just as, you know, the person responsible for the city, I just really want to personally thank you, Brendan. I know that if you knew what was in front of you, when you decided on that you might have had second thoughts. And I also really want to put a shout out to GM Jerry Minor. I know that him, the support of the two of you, getting the contractors in place. These are my major milestones, you know, probably 50 to 75 year projects. And I just really appreciated the work and the effort you put in. I know it hasn't been easy. And I think, thank you, like I said, General Manager Minor for being there as that support and also just for that, being the bad cop maybe on trying to lean on some of the individuals that maybe were kind of filling the time. And it's fantastic not only for the city, but also with such a critical timeline to have it finished and to know that we're, you know, I know we're not skating on it right now, but you know, to think that we are gonna be prepared for a fantastic opening for the Trail of Smoke Eaters on October 10th is pretty special, and I want to personally thank you for your effort that you put into that.
Well, thank you very much. No, I appreciate it. And yeah, I appreciate all the support through this. Through these projects.
Councilor
So
Castro.
thank you, Meredith. Just one question, you paid reference to the lead electrician. Who's that gentleman?
That'd be Adam.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering that too. Any other questions? No? Okay, thank you. Thank you for your great
Thank you.
reports.
Just say.
Okay.
See, welcome to stay, but you know, this.
You don't have to stay. What was that?
You don't state that.
Yeah.
Or unless you have the info.
You can say it now. You're just in case.
Sure, I'll say.
Okay, we're moving on to the staff reports, and we have the code of conduct policy and respectful workplace policy. Who's done?
That's our GM Butler. This has been something that she's been championing. She's noticed that we were some areas that we needed to update. Even the name, I think, was an important change to recognize on that, but also making sure, I think for our rules, make sure that we're compliant with WCB, and there's been some changes, and so I'll pass it over to.
Thank you, through the chair to council. Yeah, this was just two policies when I first came on a year and a half ago. You know, it's definitely the code of conduct. I had spoken to a few employees and asked them if they had ever seen it, read it, knew what was in it, and I got blank stares. So it became apparent to me that this policy, the code of conduct and the respectful workplace policy were just things that people didn't really know existed and didn't know the content in them and how they should be used. So I felt it imperative that we get this back up and running. this these policies should be introduced to new employees. And also it should be something every 1 to 2 years that we are going through the entire staff to make sure that everybody is up to date and understands. So, I present them to you. If there's any questions on their content or?
The other thing, as part of Regina Butler's process here is getting this to bring it to council with the approval, but we have training coming for our staff. With the expectation that they will, sign off that they have read and understand this. So again, that's also just one of those things to say, okay, you knew about this, if there's a challenge, or here's the process, if someone has any questions. For the supervisors to help out staff, if there's a challenge, that, all workplaces, especially since many employees that we have, there can be conflict at time, and how do we handle it, how do we treat it, what is the process, and I think it's very important, not only for our staff, but for our managers in particular, to understand what the next steps is that they need to take.
Right. Any questions from council? No?
So your worship, just that these are 3 separate motions, if you don't mind, thank you.
So do you want to do all of the reports and then do the resolution separately? The recommendations separately, or as we do the reports?
It's all one report, so if you just go through the 3 separate motions, we should be okay.
Okay. So the first recommendation is that council adopt the revised employee code of conduct policy number PD 003.1. Councillor Benson, thank you, and Councillor Martin, all those in favor? That was carried, thank you. And number 2 is that council adopt the revised respectful workplace policy number PD 008.2, formerly titled violence in the workplace. Councillor Hanson and Councillor Benson. All those in favor? Thank you. And that the policy PD 002.1, conflict of interest for employees, be deleted, as conflict of interest forms part of the policy number PD 003.1, employee code of conduct. And seconded, all those in favor? Thank you, that's carried. Okay, other reports. We have the Lower Columbia Métis Management Society request for a cash grant. Is there, any questions on that cash grant? I believe it's for $1,000. Any questions? Okay. The recommendation is that a request from the Lower Columbia Métis Management Society for a cash grant in the amount of $1,000 in support of the Kootenai South Métis Society food trailer replacement be approved. Thank you, Councillor Benson and Councillor Martin. Thank you. All those in favor? It's carried. And then we have the Trail Curling Association application. Mr. McClure, did you want to talk about that?
I may pass that over to Mr. Moorhead and or Mr. Oglo. We know that it was coming. It's one of those things that's a bit interesting because it was sort of self-paying ourselves in the sense that we're going to provide them with a grant and then they're going to make their final payment on their lease. So I'm not sure exactly what else you might have to add on that, Mr. Moorhead.
Yeah, this has happened in the past, if council recalls, in previous years, they've asked for grant and aid requests for lease payment, deferrals, or because essentially the city is paying them to pay us their lease payments. If you have any questions, try to answer them, but there's nothing.
I have a question. In their application, they speak of being reduced by 3 sheets of ice for the season, resulting in a revenue drop of 5,400. Was that a city caused reduction of ice, in which case?
It's a good question.
Yeah, and we could clarify a little bit more. Mr. Oglo can provide some context, but as far as we're aware, during the season last year, we didn't lose any sheets of ice. They were provided all 8 sheets, 4 double sheets. And we didn't lose any. So they could be referring to numbers, but I can let Brendan answer that a little more thoroughly.
Sure, yeah, from an operational side, the city had all 8 sheets fully operational. And if there was ever a need, like a brine issue or something where we had to isolate, these sheets are actually in pairs, so if we had to shut one down, it'd be either 2 or 4, or 6 sheets. That would result, so. I can speak from our operational side, we had, there was the capabilities to have all 8 sheets fully operational, there's no disruption in the city side.
Through the chair, can I make a amendment to defer this until we have more information from the Curlin's Club? Just because this is the fact that they're asking for $5,000 and the reduction of the 3 sheets resulted in a revenue drop of $5,400.
Yeah. Okay,
Some
so,
clarification on that
Mhm.
particular portion, yeah.
If I can make that motion.
thank you, Councillor Henson. Okay, all of those in favor of the amendment to the motion? That was carried, thank you. So I probably will come back next.
Yeah, we'll bring it to the next meeting, we'll reach out to, yeah, and find out what exactly they're meaning.
We'll ask for clarification on their reduction of 3 sheets and what that means.
Yeah, okay. So, is there, I see no one for question period.
I don't think there's any good.
Okay, great. A motion to rise from the committee level, please. Thank you. A seconder? Thank you. All those in favor? That was carried. Resolution to exclude the public, recess the public meeting until 6 p.m. and immediately convene into the closed session. That pursuant to section 90 of the community charter, the public be excluded from this portion of the meeting as the subject matter being considered relates to the following. Community Charter, section 91L, discussions with municipal officers and employees respecting municipal objectives, measures, and progress reports for the purpose of preparing the annual report under section 98 annual municipal report. And further, that the public portion of the meeting be recessed until 6 p.m. And further, that council immediately resolve into the closed portion of the meeting. Thank you, Councillor Benson. Thank you, Councillor Martin. All those in favor? And that was carried. That's it. Thanks.